The biggest problem we're seeing in the RC scale helicopter world these days is not the awesome scale looks of these things or even their performance, although that does come into play sometimes. And that's the beauty of watching our videos. The biggest issue we're seeing in the scale helicopter world is price. We've been showing you guys some really cool military helicopters, but unfortunately they come in anywhere between $400 and $700 and even more expensive for a couple other options. So we featured a smaller, very cool bright red and yellow helicopter recently on the channel, and it was somewhat of a budget helicopter, but unfortunately, it was still a little bit pricey, right in that $150 to $200 price range. So check out this beautiful scale helicopter. And the good news is it comes in about half the price of that last one. At least this should be right around $100. So it says that it's got some really cool features to help beginners learn how to fly, but also I think anybody that's been in the hobby for years and years can appreciate this helicopter. And it is completely ready to fly with the radio. It has altitude hold, which helps you fly completely assisted, especially for beginners, just like drones, a GPS drone if you've ever flown one of those. And if you haven't, that's okay. It just makes this a little easier to fly. And they kept it very, very scale looking, which I absolutely love. So we just want to put this in the air and see how it does. So let's fly. Okay, this does have an auto takeoff button, so because it has it, I want to take advantage of that. So let's try that out. I'm just going to press one button. And there it goes. This is all the helicopter. Now I want to see, now you see how it's drifting away? The box actually says that it has visual position hold, but it does not. So I'm wondering if for this Bell helicopter, they've reused the box from another helicopter that does have visual position hold. What that does, if you're not familiar, is just holds the helicopter in place if you let go of the control. So I'm letting go. Visual position hold would just lock it in, but you see how it's drifting? That drift is from the wind. We have about a 2-mile-an-hour breeze or so, and it's pushing it down that way. So it doesn't have visual position hold. Hopefully the website listing doesn't say that it does. However, it does have altitude hold. So I'm not having to mess around with throttle if I just want the helicopter to hover. That's nice because, check this out, I can just let go of the left stick, it goes to center, and the helicopter hovers on its own. That makes it easier to fly, in my opinion, for a beginner if you just want to fly your helicopter around and make it look really cool. Just like this. It comes out of the box like this. There's no assembly required. That beautiful scale look is exactly like that right out of the box, which I think is really awesome. And as I said, it's ready to fly. It doesn't just come with the radio, it comes with a charger. And in our case, we have 2 flight batteries. So that's nice. The downside is they are proprietary batteries, but in my opinion, when something comes in as easy to use as this, and it functions well, and at this price point, personally, I'm a little more okay with proprietary batteries. I would like to see this flying on like a Molex connector under a battery hatch, but I get it, I guess. I don't know if that would increase their sales much more. I do know that it makes some people mad when you use proprietary batteries. So, you know, that is what this is doing, and very few helicopters these days are using like a universal plug. So unfortunately, if we want to enjoy these helicopters, that's the current situation with batteries that we have. Now it does have 3 flight modes too. And I've been in flight mode 1, believe it or not, fighting through this wind. So let's increase those speeds. Flight mode 2, we get 2 beeps. It should be a little faster. Feels like it is. Don't get a huge difference out of that, but just enough to fight a light breeze. Actually sounds pretty good too. Let's check this out. You know, we're flying this like we've spotted the bad guy or the news crew, right? Here we go. And we're just banking tight to keep a shot on him so he doesn't get away. Chasing the guy down, eyes in the sky for the police, right? At least for their TV ratings. It looks like, now that's a light on the front and you guys can see that now, but it kind of almost resembles what those cameras look like on the bottom of news choppers, which I think is pretty cool. Let's go up to flight mode 3 and see if that makes much of a difference. You know, for pitch, I'm not feeling much of a difference. but maybe that yaw speed is increased. So let's actually give that a good test. Here we go in flight mode 3 is full yaw, which is rotation, and we'll bump it down to flight mode 1. See how much slower that is. And 3. About double the speed or so between 1 and 3. Flight mode 2 feels really good on a day where you have a light breeze. What you don't want to do when you're a beginner pilot though, if you buy this as a first helicopter, and man, this would make such a good first helicopter, so good. It's teaching a lot of orientation, a little bit of throttle management, but also it's teaching you how to fight the wind. I love this helicopter, and especially for the price point as a first helicopter. So here's some great advice for you guys. If you're gonna fly your first helicopter like this, not a cheap little Walmart, you know, fly it once and throw it away kind of thing, you wanna aim the helicopter away from you. And that way, when you push left on the controls, guess where the helicopter goes? It goes left. When you push right, it goes to the right. So when you're flying this thing, your job on your first flight is to kind of keep it in this invisible box in front of you. You don't necessarily want to fly right off the ground. You would think that's the safest place to be, but you are fighting your own prop wash when you're down there really close to the ground. So I say about waist or chest height, even head height is a good place to be, or maybe even 10 feet high or so, but keep it in that box and get a feel for the helicopter. What happens is you face the helicopter away, like toward you like this, and now when I push right on the controller, the helicopter actually goes to our left, but it's still going to its right. When I push left, it goes to its left, but it's going right to us. And that seems like common sense, but when you're flying a helicopter for the first time, you're in the moment, and maybe a breeze comes along and it messes with you, trust me, the fact that the controls are opposite while facing this direction is enough to mess up the best of pilots sometimes. We see airplane pilots flying their planes upside down, like myself, and you know, you forget the controls are reversed and it can end in a crash. So get your first few flights in by facing the helicopter away, just like this. I love the fact that this is a flybar-less helicopter, and I think it's boasting something like 15-minute flights too. So guys, because this is just a scale helicopter like this, and Abby and I have a couple more projects we want to work on today for content for the channel, I don't think we're going to do a full battery, but I'm very impressed by this thing. Its flight performance, the scale looks, it's absolutely awesome. I'm going to land it, and then I'm going to tell you guys a pro tip before we end the video. So here we go, let's just land it. This is a manual landing, we're not doing the auto landing. So cool. Now I love the bright colors of this thing. It just pops. It looks good in the sky and it's easy to see. So if you're thinking maybe that's kind of a smaller helicopter, it is. But the nice thing about the size of this helicopter is you can fly it really anywhere. You could, even with some skill, some experience, you could fly this inside your own home. So, you know, I wouldn't really encourage that because it's a nice hobby grade helicopter, but you could if you had maybe access to a basketball court or something like that, a gymnasium. I told you guys it had that really bright light on the front, which is really nice. You could do some night flying with this, and it would keep orientation well because you even have a red light on the back. I love how they painted the props too, because they just looked really cool in the air. Now, this helicopter will be linked in the description box below, and I'm going to encourage you guys to use that link for a few different reasons. One is because, let's be honest, it does help our channel and our family at no extra cost to you, but the big thing is there are tons of helicopters and knockoffs of helicopters out there, and I just don't want you to end up on Temu buying something for $50 that performs like a Walmart helicopter. So we want to make sure you're getting the right helicopter when you actually go to buy this. It's an awesome helicopter and it comes in at a really good price, but remember, the pro tip is that Abby is going to have a coupon code for you guys to hopefully save a few more bucks just because you're awesome and you've subscribed to our channel. Now, another pro tip too, and this is a bonus, is that we fly with AMA, and I encourage you guys to fly with AMA too. What's AMA? It's the Academy of Model Aeronautics, for about the price of this helicopter. And for some that might be a lot, but when you really get into this hobby and you're buying $300 airplanes, for about $100 or less, you can insure yourself as an RC pilot. So if, God forbid, you ever crash into someone or something and you hurt them or break or damage something else with your RCs, that's where the AMA will step in. But there's tons of benefits too, like a magazine subscription, access to fields across the country, and being able to just get into events that are RC focused and really blow your mind and have fun. I mean, there's so many benefits and there's so many tools at our fingertips that we can use just by being AMA members. If you ever have any questions about the hobby, hey, am I allowed to fly here? Is this okay? Did this guy do the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Was I in the wrong? You can pick up the phone and call them when you're a member and have those questions answered. So I think there are a ton of benefits, and if nothing else, even if you don't sign up for AMA, I encourage you guys to fly by their rules and guidelines, because it keeps us in the hobby able to continue the hobby the way we like to enjoy it, with less intervention from the wrong kinds of people. So there are some people out there that draw the wrong attention to this hobby, and unfortunately it hurts it for all of us. But when we fly by AMA's rules and guidelines, it really helps all of us just enjoy the hobby that much more. So I encourage you, check them out. Now guys, this has been awesome, but we do have a little bit of time left. Abby and I would like to record another video for the channel, so we want you to stop by and subscribe so you can see what video that is that we're talking about. It's very cool, hopefully worth your time. But for blessing us with this beautiful, this absolutely perfect day to get out here in front of the camera and share this experience with you guys, I just want to say a massive thanks to God. Also a huge thanks to our Patreon supporters, because we couldn't do what we do as often as we do it without your insanely awesome support. Now if you love small helicopters, but for some reason this one just it wasn't hitting it for you, we have another really cool helicopter that's right around $100 that we did almost a year ago, but it's still an amazing helicopter. That video will be popping up right about now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you there. Woo!